Hey everybody, what's up? Y'all cannot get rid of me. I am sitting here, Danny Morales, Danny Nine Panels on Twitter. I went ahead and made a YouTube and a Twitch, and eventually a Facebook page. But right now, I figured we'll go on my personal page. Me and Roy always joked about doing the Vin Diesel speech from Fast and the Furious. What's up, Daryl? Doing the Fast and Furious speech, but using variants. So I went ahead and named the channel Quarter Variant at a Time. And that, with no further ado, brings us who's going to be on today, which is Roy.
What's up? Imperious Rex.
Roy, you remember that little like
I do
monologue that you gave?
I do. And, but it was funny because it was a slow burn for me because I didn't realize it at first. And then I was like, bro, that sounds like a joke that someone with a really bad sense of humor would make. And then I was like, oh no, that was me. I remember that. So super stoked to be here.
And like I'm gonna try to like Photoshop a cool like logo that's like Vin Diesel reading a comic or something like that. Like we'll figure it out. But like right now I just like am going with the flow.
I'm here for it. I already have the graphic made.
So yeah. So anyways, this is Roy. Roy's gonna help me out. Every once in a while I think Nick's gonna pop on too. Nick's work schedule is tough. So like he was like, I can't commit to any of that. But I do want to eventually have Nick on too. So y'all might remember Nick from the FOC show. This show is just going to be a little bit of everything. I got talking points. I don't think we'll go a full hour in the first one, but we might because FOC sometimes takes like 15, 20 minutes to go through. And we'll just
have a hard time shutting me up.
Yeah. So, but to start, just while people get in here, we have my super late, outdated take on the Flash movie, which Roy saw with me the first time. I've seen it 4 times. So there was that time plus 3.
I've seen it twice. We watched it again in my house, remember?
Oh, yeah. That's true. Yeah, so you have seen it twice. So, all right, I'm going to start with it doesn't deserve the hate it's getting online.
I don't think so. A really good friend of mine is one of those huge Snyder fans, and that's all fine with me. I got no politics on it, and but I watch them drag it, so it's good to see both perspectives. When we were sitting there and I told you this, like to me, like I see the complaint about the CGI and I don't know how else you're going to, spoiler alert, show puppies and babies in microwaves and babies flying out of windows. How else are you really going to show that without making it super obvious? And I think that's kind of where they were going, or that's how I feel. That's my postulation on it. Overall, as a guy who absolutely can't stand comic book movies and hates the whole genre of it, I thought I was pretty good and I enjoyed it. I was glad the company was stellar, obviously.
Yeah.
But I was really, I didn't mind. I thought I was good. I sat there for it, no problems. I enjoyed myself.
You were there, so right? People aren't gonna people make it seem like I'm making it up. So like we saw it Thursday night, which in theory is like opening night now, because even though movies come on Friday, like they got like 6 showings Thursday. So we saw it Thursday night, and like I understand, like I admit, because like I saw it 3 times out again in theaters. Like yes, the theaters were more on the empty side the other times, but that was a packed house when we went Thursday night. And here's the other kicker. The reactions, and I told you this because I technically never saw the final 2 Avengers films, Endgame or whatnot. So like I never saw any of that. So like this was the first time to me that I was in a theater and people, it happened in the Batman like once or twice, I think, but for real, like people like got up and were like clapping, dude. People clapped when the title card came up. People clapped when his like feet landed at the hospital.
Yes.
Obviously, people clapped at all the cameos. What was crazy though is it was clearly at different levels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Cage gets a bigger rile. Honestly, to me, and I'm not the guy who watched those old movies, but it was cool to see George Reeves on there because like I'm not gonna go back and watch any of those TV shows or whatever he was on. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't recommend it. It's not phenomenal.
But I understand that plays a role in where we're at now. I always used to say to people, when people want to complain, because like there is a lot of bad movies, like right, like none of these things are amazing necessarily.
You have to convince me.
Yeah, but what I tell people is like we've come a long way from Lou Ferrigno running around with green body paint and ripped pants. Like, you know,
Sure.
like that was the only comic book content, that and like Japanese Spider-Man. Like there was 3 shows.
Please don't ever disrespect Spider-Man in my
I'm
presence,
just
sir.
saying, you only had like 3 shows, and I'm sure production times were way slower back then. So like,
Sure.
you did not have comic book content that you couldn't take other than
No.
reading a comic book.
No, you didn't have any comic. No, you didn't. And in fact, that's the first time you got to see Daredevil and Thor on screen too. Is those made-for-TV Lou Ferrigno movies, and it's just Daredevil just in some black pajamas. Like that's kind of why they started off Charlie Cox that way in the series. I have a feeling, which is
Because
to kind
like
of
the homage
to that. Yeah.
and I'm all for
But it
homages,
was hokey. And then I'm so old. Like back in the day, they had that movie Adventures in Babysitting, and the little kid is obsessed thinking the dude is the real life Thor because he's like a mechanic. He's got the big hammer, and she wears the hat like the whole time. And like you had to live for stuff like that. You didn't get any kind of content.
So,
John Wesley Shipp is still the best Flash.
Dude, I never watched the show, like that show. I've seen like the Caravan of Garbage and everything like that. But like he was a phenomenal Jay Garrick.
Yeah, I saw that.
What I've seen of him, he was a phenomenal Barry Allen's dad, like Henry Allen. Like honestly, that dude, John Wesley Shipp, from what I understand, didn't do very much. Like he was the Flash, but like I don't think he had a lot of he maybe bit roles. But he's actually phenomenally good in the roles.
Yeah, yeah, he's great. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I had to look at it through the lens of me being like 11 years old or whatever it was. But I thought it was rad. And like I said, at that point, just to get anything, and now they shove it down your face like non-stop. And I don't really think any of it is good. I think the first, but I don't know. I don't want to get into all that. You have all kinds of stuff you want to talk about. And I could spend an entire hour disrespecting Marvel movies.
Well, I mean, and like I'll admit, DC's had a lot of like slips. Like I didn't watch any because I don't watch as much cable nowadays. But like the Gotham Knights, not was it Gotham Knights?
The game?
I don't know. It was on CW. No.
Oh yeah. I think it is Gotham Knights, and that was.
And like none of them were like characters that anybody's ever asked about. Like there was oh my god, Joker's daughter. What's her name? Dwella Dent is like in here, and I'm like, dude, Dwella Dent. Like seriously, like.
Do I let DC slide on a lot because their animation game is so awesome.
Their animation's great, and Daryl, the CG, like right, like for me. So I went in there knowing it wasn't Flashpoint, like right, it wasn't. But what I thought they did, I don't want to say like they did it well necessarily, but they grabbed the Flash portion of the heart of Flashpoint.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's what they used. So yes, they did not use the action part of Flashpoint, which is the Atlanteans fighting, like, right? So I knew that was not going to be there. They didn't use the emotional Batman parts of Flashpoint, which is Thomas wanting to resurrect. Like that's very emotional. So they did not.
Yeah, that was all. That's dark, man. That's hard to put that in a movie, and then
But like I felt like the emotional Barry stuff they did grasp because it is all about his mom. So for a character you know nothing about, like I feel like they grasp, like they don't have to give you a deep dive on Nora, right? Like Nora, I said it to somebody else, I'm like Nora was in a comic book, like she's probably been in 32 pages of comic book. Like Nora is the least used comic book person because she just kind of dies. She is Barry's origin story.
Right.
But I did like the broad strokes of how emotional he was about his mom. The Dark Flash thing was a little predictable, especially as it went on. But what I thought, me and you talked about it for a second, and we're going to move on to the next topic because I didn't want to talk about a movie that's been out for a month this late.
Yeah.
What I thought you hit on really cool was you knew that he was Dark Flash a little bit before me, and it was because you saw the addict in him almost.
Yes. Like, no, not almost. That is it. That's my history. I have no problems owning up to it. So I'm coming up on my 5 years of being clean. So
and you said it was when he said one more time or whatever.
One more time. And then I looked right over and I was like, it's him. Like I knew it right there. Like
and I thought that was, and I think it all plays in. Like, yes, the third act is a little rushed, but the fact that he hears older Barry talking to Keaton, and he's not supposed to know that they're here to save his mom, but like now he knows, and he's addicted to the fact that he thinks he can change it.
I think you can do it, man. You got this. Just one more time. I got goosebumps now talking about it. So that was cool for me. And I know you're moving along. So action aside, storylines aside, CGI aside, I think that they did really have like some good emotionally moving moments. Whether it was the excitement of who popped up or whether the tragedy here, I think it really played well to that. Like I'll give it that. Like it did have me emotionally invested in it.
Yeah.
So.
And I will say, like, as much as people were like, Keaton stole the show, Keaton was great in everything he was in. I feel like Keaton was super underutilized. Like, I will say that, like, 100% thought Keaton could have been in more of it or done more. Like, I don't know. I thought where the time where he jumps out of the plane and he fights that huge guy and he's just dropping like bat bombs on him.
Yeah.
That was a little bit of what I wanted to see a little bit more. Like, he pretty much fights twice, and I don't know, I would have liked to see that more. And again, it is a Flash movie, so like it's sad that I'm here complaining like I wanted more Keaton, but like I do feel like you got the guy there, you might as well do it.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
I will say I understand people hating the Clooney cameo. I understand it.
I don't care.
But like I do think it's funny because I personally think Clooney's a phenomenal actor. So if you think about it, like he was given the worst script, and what can you do with it? So it's like in theory, like if you were going to tell me, hey, of the alive and capable former Batman actors, we can do one like older man Bruce story. Who are you picking? My heart wants to pick Affleck, but like I kind of want to just say, give Clooney another shot. Give Clooney a shot because I don't
see Clooney than Ben Affleck.
Bale was in phenomenal stories. Bale didn't do it for me though. Bale didn't do it for me. So that's just my take on Batman.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm old, so I've been living in denial all this time that Ben Affleck is even Batman. Like you got to be weird. And then that's the funny thing is like, so the biggest thing is they gave me something to love for Ben Affleck as Batman, which is the homage to the blue and gray suit. Everybody hated it. And for me, I was like, oh, the blue and gray suit. So they didn't even forget about me. So I enjoyed that movie. So forget everybody else, dude. Just stuff it. Be bitter like I am and move on.
So Flash, 2 thumbs up from me. But not, I can admit it wasn't perfect. So I am excited for Blue Beetle.
Yo, yeah, man, that kid is great, dude. I loved him in Cobra Kai.
I never watched Cobra Kai, so I'm excited, dude. Jaime Reyes was like really to me the first Hispanic superhero like that I knew of. Like I know there was
sunspot for me, but I'm old.
Like yeah, there was people before him, and I'm a big DC guy, so it's like I saw him in animated growing up, and so I'm excited for this. I want this to succeed. I love George Lopez. Like many kids, probably not even Hispanic kids, but just many kids of my age. Like we grew up watching him on TV. Like there's a lot of sitcoms everywhere. You know, there's Al Bundy for a generation, and then there's like George Lopez, and then there's whatever's going on now. So I'm the George Lopez generation. So
I hear you. Didn't they? And then there was the Modern Family generation. Never watched.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's like the now generation.
Never watched one episode of that show. It went on for like 800 years. It's like okay,
it's not my thing. But all right. So next, I wanted to go through FOC. I'm not going to show it all off. I figure we'll show it. We'll throw it on the screen here.
Heard.
It gives me a chance though. Like very first off the top because this is done alphabetically. So like image. This is books, by the way, guys. So FOC is Final Order Cutoff. No matter what store you're at in the country, everybody has to order their books on the same day.
Everybody.
Now, can they still cover you after said day? Absolutely. What I'm implying is this is like the day that stores have to put their orders in. Some stores would ask you to have your orders in as early as Friday because they don't have somebody on the weekend doing things like that. But the Final Order Cutoff is today for DC and then Monday for independent, Marvel, everything like that. So I'm over here showing you guys books because in theory, if you want to guarantee them or add them to your sub, it's guaranteed. I mean, any store worth their salt, it's guaranteed as long as you put it in at that point. So that is what Final Order Cutoff or FOC is. I'm going to just scroll through. This is Previews World. Anybody can access this. Once you make a Pullbox account, you can also order things essentially, depending on what store you're working with. But I'm just going to go through all of this real quickly and highlight the ones that I think are cool. And Roy, you've already submitted your FOC for the week.
Of course.
Anything piques your interest, and especially when we get to Marvel, because I don't really order any Marvel, so I'm not like looking through that as much. But feel free to stop me. Right away, I want to point out Antarctica #2. Literally, one of the books I'm going to talk about on the new comics this week is Antarctica #1. This book is a sleeper. It's done by Top Cow, which is technically Image, but it's about like the conspiracy that Antarctica is like a hub for like scientific and government experiments, and it's not necessarily like just this like frozen tundra that nobody visits. There's a reason nobody visits, and this girl, her whole life, her dad was a researcher, and then he disappeared on one of his trips. The trip was allegedly to this base in Antarctica. Crazily enough, she then schemes her way into getting a job at the same base, and then right away she finds out like, yeah, this is weird. So like, it's a cool mystery. Like it feels like if Department of Truth tackled the Antarctica thing, but with a little bit more of having a main character that's like in it. Like your main character is very interesting. I like her a lot. So Antarctica #2 is on FOC. If your local comic store still has some, I would say pick up Antarctica #1. It was a great read. It's a quick read, great art, but like it kept me intrigued the whole time. So I really like want to suggest that. I picked it up simply based of the cover and interest, and I just thought it was really cool. So that's Antarctica #1 with 2 on FOC. I Hate Fairyland 8 is on FOC. There are tons of covers for this book, so always make sure to let your local store know about them. There's always an A cover, or well, it looks like Scotty's no longer doing the A cover. Bean is doing the A cover. Then Bean is doing an FU variant cover, which is different art. That's not how it used to be, so just make sure you know about that. And then there is a Momoko cover. So that is what you got there. In Hell We Fight, Magic Order, Mark Millar, Nightclub, Something Epic. Did you pick up Something Epic, Roy, ever? Did you ever do that one?
No, but did you go past Big Game yet? No, not yet.
No, not yet.
That's where I'm gonna pause you here.
All right, or maybe is that on FOC this week?
Or no, that just released.
That just released, so that'll be next
week.
segment,
yeah,
bro.
We'll wait on that one, bro. Well, because it was a big deal, and like you triggered me because I wanted to talk about it. But that's definitely new comic books that just came out, not what we're ordering.
Okay, so that's also Millar.
It is also Millar.
So Something Epic has the homage covers. Looks like Indiana Jones, and is this maybe Rambo? I'm not sure.
I believe it's supposed to be. It could be Commando. I can't really see it, to be honest with you.
Make it bigger. Oh, that doesn't help. It opened in a different screen.
No, I'm just gonna pull it up on my phone.
But yeah, that's a cool cover. But Something Epic has been kind of like the comic version of Ready Player One, so it's interesting. They've always done homage covers though. The Call #1 is out. It's a mini series written by Kelly Thompson. It's got some cool covers there. A Walsh cover. This is actually my favorite cover, the D cover by Cells, where they're on the beach. Looks super cool. Void Rivals is going to a third printing. A lot of stores do still have first printings. #2 is going to a second printing. #2 just came out this week, so if you want a first printing, those are probably still available in stores. Then #3 comes out. This is all the same FOC and the same release date, so keep an eye on that if you're a completionist. A cover is by Delfecci, the interior artist. B cover is by Heron. Walking Dead is still coming out with the deluxe colored editions, 4 covers strong. Then we are at Boom. There's a new Dune book, Dark Crystal compilation, Sirens of the City #2. Lauren picked up #1. She hasn't read it yet. It had a Jenny Frieson cover, but I flipped through it.
You're welcome.
Was that?
That must have been that conversation, yeah, because she peeked up when we were over at the Phoenix Con. As soon as I said Jenny Frieson, she was like, "Do what now?"
Oh yeah, so she picked that up yesterday, and it looks cool.
It is. It's a good book. It really they got, the only downside is they seem to have a lot of things in the pot at one time. So hopefully they can kind of streamline and not lose focus. But it really deals a lot with like bodily autonomy, especially for women and stuff like that. And it's a good reflection of a lot of current events and things that people are going through with changes in legislation. So it's worth looking into.
Yeah, I thought it was super cool. Carrie Randolph does the interior art. So
yeah, plus it's support. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always support. So it's worth looking into.
So that's issue 2. Issue 1 just came out this week, so it should be still available in most places.
Dan Mora covers too.
Yep. You got Something's Killing the Children 32. You got an A cover. You got Dan Mora B. You got the FOC reveal cover. And then there's Wild Ends number 3. This is not a book I had looked into too much, but
No
that's
idea.
got 2 covers. DC is on here, which is nice because there are a couple things I wanted to talk about.
The
Batman
Longest
Brave and the
Night
Bold 4
Terrors.
is out. They're going to do the Blue Beetle variants this upcoming thing. So if you're doing any of those, there's some cool ones. There's Mike Diodato Jr. on the Brave and the Bold. Then there is Raphael Albuquerque on Batman Superman World's Finest 18, which is a great book. It is on issue 18, but a great book if you have a chance.
I always identify his art with Blue Beetle.
Yep. Harley Quinn, Black, White, and Redder. That's anthology book. There's 3 covers. There's 9 art germ for this one. I know a lot of people did the art germ on the first one. Hawk Girl number 2. Hawk Girl number 1 did come out this week, and I did read it, and I have it to talk about in the new comic book day thing. There's the A cover, and then there's a B cover featuring Galaxy that's drawn by Derek Chu. So you know that's what I'm getting. And then there is a Blue Beetle cover by Kara Andrews, which I think is a phenomenal cover. Galaxy is in this book. I don't actually, Roy. It's funny. I don't know if you would have gotten this trade for Kai or not, but like, Galaxy. I think it's called Galaxy the Prettiest Hero or Galaxy the something. It was one of those DC, like it was a graphic novel. It wasn't a singular comic book. Like
Gotcha.
the ones that we would have put in the kids section.
Yeah.
So, usually when you get created for like a graphic novel like that, you don't typically end up in the canon universe, like you're kind of just like in that. So apparently Galaxy she's in the Hawk Girl book.
Oh, wow.
So she's like the secondary character. She saves her in the first issue. It's very interesting. It has me wanting to literally go back and read a young adult graphic novel just to like find out more about this character. But Galaxy is her name. It's really cool. She's on both of these covers, but you can see her really well on the Derek Chu cover. Plus Derek Chu's the homie, so like
Derek
you gotta,
Chu, it sells itself.
Night Terrors Catwoman number 2. Lauren bought number 1. She hasn't read it yet. I'm reading Night Terrors. I'm focusing on the ones I want to read, and then I'm gonna kind of read. She got Poison Ivy as well, so like I'm gonna catch up on some of those as well. But Night Terrors is cool because you don't have to read them all. You can just read what you want to read. You can read the mainline series. I will talk about it a little bit when we get a little further down. But there's Catwoman. There's an A, a B, and a C, and then incentives. There is Nightwing Night Terrors, which has beautiful covers, but especially the Matina B cover. It's awesome. I don't know what's going on in that cover, but it's awesome. There's a Two-Face C cover.
Night Terrors. Oh, you get to see incentives? Man.
Yeah, dude. Do you not get to see incentives?
No.
Really? When you're signed in?
Are you going through?
I only get to see incentives on DC, to be fair.
Oh, maybe that's it then.
So
maybe
that's why I'm still asking if you can see them because
I'm still here now because now I'm curious because
I only see them on DC, to be fair. So like I don't know if that's because they're probably importing the invoice since Diamond doesn't do, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I don't have great answers. But there's Punchline number 2. Number 1 came out just like 2 weeks ago for all of these, so I'm sure a lot of local comic stores still have them. Superman number 2, that is into my to be read pile for Superman number 1. Night Terrors. What I've decided to do, Night Terrors does have a lot of books, so I am only reading the ones that are from characters I care about or writers I like. You know what I'm saying? So let me give you an example. I am not reading Night Terrors Punchline.
Aw.
It's not written by James Tynion. It's not. There's a lot of reasons it's not in my wheelhouse. Not getting my $4.99 there. But like, I love Josh Williamson. I'm not reading his Superman, but I will totally read 2 issues of Superman from him. So I'm reading Night Terrors Superman 1 and 2. And like, so that's kind of like.
Over here at this house, we're doing Zatanna, Punchline, and Poison Ivy.
Dude, Zatanna, that's going to be in my red pile thing. Zatanna was phenomenal.
Was it good? Because I haven't read it yet. The cover suckered me, dude.
When we get to the new comic thing, like I'll explain it a little bit, like the spoiler-free thing. But like,
that's what's up.
The Zatanna one is different than all the rest of them because she's awake.
And you were telling me about that.
Like she's awake and fighting. Everybody else is in their nightmare because insomnia has gotten them. And anyways, we'll get to there. But
that's what's up.
I actually really like the series. I understand a lot of people's comic stores went low. Like I'm sure like there are places that went high, and then there are places that went low because it wasn't returnable. It wasn't something that people were asking for, but I
Right.
think when marketed correctly, people actually kind of were like people to the main premise of the main story, which issue 3, let me scroll down because here's Superman, there's an A, there's a B. There's actually, did you order the John Yang Superman, dude? That's fire.
No, I didn't, because I'm on a slim month
Oh
even
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
me.
I
So
saw it and I was like, dang, that's good. That's good, John Yang.
because I got that next Zatanna cover for number 2. I got the 1 in 50 for that.
Oh, you went big boy.
Yeah, dude, the Zatanna covers are just all of them
The
were
Zatanna
awesome.
covers were really good, and the Ravager covers were really good, and I
Yeah.
almost like went for some of those to be fair.
I
Um,
don't thirst often, but like when it gets to Zatanna, that's my soft spot.
so Night Terror's Wonder Woman has an A cover by the homie Jay Lee, a B
Ooh.
cover. Then it has a C cover by Jeff DeCal. Sick 1 in 25. Penguin number 0 is on FOC. I do want to give everybody in the world a heads up as you do your FOCs. Penguin number 0. Let me just read the solicit. Following the Penguin's death in the landmark, spoiler alert, in the landmark Batman 125, the mysterious executor has enlisted Catwoman to carry out the departed's last wish and track down his next of kin. But when the Penguin's ears start getting murdered, Catwoman will have to find the killer and discover what truly became of Oswald Cobblepot.
Huh.
This collects Batman 125 through 127's backup stories by the red hot creative team of Chip Zdarsky and Belen Ortega. So if you bought Batman 125, 126, and 127, this book is just the backup stories. That's why you paid the $1 extra on them, is the backup stories. So just so you know. Now, there is going to be a Penguin series that spins off of this. But this is their way of being like, hey, man, in case you missed it, because like we know you might have.
Gotcha.
So I think that's smart. I think it's smart, and I
It is
think it's good to be
wise, yeah.
transparent. I think it's good to be transparent about it too. And they only did one cover too, so like they're not even trying to money grab about it. It's like I can give them the kudos there. So
Yeah, all around that's a solid move.
yeah. So
I feel.
Superman, the Man of Tomorrow, A cover, B cover, Blue Beetle cover, which is pretty sick. Tales of the Teen Titans number 2. It's actually just titled Tales of the Teen Titans number 2, but it's this book is weird because a lot of people will be like, this makes no sense to me. But this is the way George Perez and Marv Wolfman did it back in the 80s, was they made a series, 4-issue series, if you will, called Tales of the Teen Titans. And each issue was like the origin of that Titan. So Tales of the Teen Titans number 1 was like Starfire, and Tales of the Teen Titans 2 was like Cyborg. And like I remember they did it exactly like that. So they're doing it again. So even though number 2 is Raven, number 1 was Starfire. Cool A cover that homages that old Perez cover. Then there's a B cover by Christian Ward that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
There's a Blue Beetle variant. And then 125s, 150s. There is a foil cover done by Samney, I think. Chris Samney. I don't love it, but it exists. It's there.
Usually, and I just had this couple. Well, this one I see is a little more expensive, but like I was because this week was big on foil covers that were open order, and I'm like, dude, you got me. Just about anytime you've got a cover price foil cover, my born in 1980 self is running.
Well, and I admit I did it. So with number 1, like I said, number 1 was Starfire. So like I have the A cover, right?
Yeah.
And then I got the B cover, or sorry, the foil cover.
That's what's up. Yeah, I got that too. You gotta be out of your mind.
But dude, this cover is significantly better than that.
Yes.
Like let's just say that. Like it's all like, you know, I don't want to hate on Chris Samney, but I'm just saying that was better.
I got that Harley Quinn art germ foil. I got the Pepe Larraz Moon Knight. They did manage to get that one right. Nice. I got two of them for Something Is Killing the Children because it was a Jenny Frieson, and
then they did a foil version of Frieson, which Lauren got.
Yeah, I got the foil. There's 2 foils that came out, and I got them both. Oh, I'm gonna go grab my stack in a second.
Yeah.
Move over.
Vigil number 4, A, B cover. Wonder Woman, the War of the Gods Special Edition 2 of 4. I didn't realize that was like new content. Oh, it's not. It's reprinting the old George Perez. But number 1 had just come out this past week too. Marvel Comics. I'm gonna breeze through this too. Amazing Spider-Man 32. You got an A cover. You got a Kubert Gods variant. You have a Stormbreakers featuring Black Cat, and then you do have your Gwen. Greg, is that Greg Land homage? Right? Just she's not sitting. The
yeah. It's a homage to her first appearance.
Yeah. So that's the Disney cover. That's what everybody's gonna want. Black Panther number 3, you got an A cover, you got Stormbreakers, you got an Ian Burtman. Captain America Finale number 1. You got an A cover, you got Greg Land,
Greg Land.
You've got Daredevil and Echo number 4 of 4. This is the finale, only 1 cover. Marvel's really doing that. Daredevil by Wade and Chris Samney. 2 covers for that. Deadpool 10, A cover. You got Pete Woods cover, so 2 covers on that. Doctor Strange, Volume 1 by Jed McKay. It was solid. Fantastic Four Annual. Gosh, I can't believe we're at the annual on that already. And what's the name of this event?
Contest of Chaos.
Contest of Chaos. So there you go. Marvel's got another event going on. Sounds awesome. Sounds great.
I'm so excited.
Is this an Agatha Harkness like thing?
What? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It's better to not know.
We'll learn. So, A cover and then a B cover by Todd Knock. The Ghost Rider by Ed Brinson is out. Ghost Rider Epic Collection.
That's what's up.
The beginning of that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Iron Man 9, that's Kale. It's part of Fall of X, it looks
Kale,
like.
Yep.
Invincible Iron Man 9 Stormbreakers. That is a dope poster. Jean Grey. I know that had a lot of cool covers.
These are all the comics that were in that box.
So there's an A cover. Derek Chu is knocking out a dope cover for Jean Grey.
Yeah, that's my pick, obviously.
George Perez even knocked out, or well, obviously this is all unused art or whatnot.
Yeah.
There's a Miss Minutes cover, which like if you're speculating, like that's probably where you should speculate. I don't know why, but like it's just where you should because last time there was a Miss Minutes cover for whatever book it was, I forget what it was, Timeless or whatever. Like the world lost their mind. So it's like to be safe. If you're speculating, like if you're reading it, if you're buying it to read it, get whatever cover you like. I'm just saying, like,
I hear you, man.
Doing like it's.
No, I hear you.
I don't know. Is Marvel Unleashed like one of these? Like it was digital, and now they're like, let's print.
It looks to me like it's literally a pun because it's all animals, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it is.
I think
Kraven unleashes the beast. When Kraven abducts Lockjaw at the same time, a local scientist goes missing. It's up to Throg, Red Wing, Huey, Lucky, Bats, and their scrappy new ally, D-Dog. What a name, D-Dog.
Can you read those names again, but slower? And
yeah. Oh, you want me to? I'll read the whole thing. Hold on.
No.
Throg, the Frog of Thunder.
Yeah, the Frog of Thunder.
Red Wing, the Falcon. Chewy, the Cat Flurkin.
No.
Lucky, the Pizza Dog. Does he have a pizza on this cover? He does not. I feel robbed.
Money left on the table there.
That's the Ghost Dog. Even though he looks like a Green Lantern, because he's glowing green. He's not at all on fire. But whatever. And their scrappy new ally, D-Dog.
They did not use the word scrappy.
Yeah, they said with their scrappy
new ally. I'm checking out of this.
To save the day.
Day.
So it's written by Carl Starks, who's a phenomenal writer, but like interesting stuff.
I mean, if it's aimed at kids, though, I get it,
dude. Just like put all your money. Like if you were planning on going to Vegas because you're like, I gotta save money for a honeymoon or whatever, don't go to Vegas. Just buy 100 copies of Marvel Unleashed Miss Minutes variant, and you'll be rich in like no time at all.
I can't believe I could have got more cat covers out of Chrissy Zulo, and instead I have to deal with another Miss Minutes cover. I did not.
I mean, look, she drew some dogs on there, though, dude. Like, I mean,
it's not good enough for me, man. It's not good
enough.
It's a
Lockjaw
comes
cover
out of pocket for her cat books.
So, like, I understand the Lockjaw cover.
Yeah.
How many people are clamoring for a Red Wing cover?
Red Wing? Oh, come on, man! Don't you know that it was once suggested that his telepathic bond with Captain America or Falcon, however you want to look at it, is in fact a mutant power.
So he's a mutant.
He's more of a mutant than Miss Marvel. I said it. I said it.
Oh, dude. Is that on this week's episode? I don't think it is.
Bro, I don't want to talk about it.
Moon Knight, City of the Dead 2, #1 had just come out. It was a phenomenal book. Pick that up. There's a Rose Besh-B cover and an Alex Horley variant cover, which is awesome.
Love Horley.
Planet of the Apes 5. I can't believe that's still going, but it's still going.
Oh, man. They're gonna squeeze
Realm of X 1 of 4, because the X people just needed more stuff. You know what else people needed more of? Spider-Man reprints. So Spider-Man 10 is getting a second print because like every issue since 7 has needed a reprint, even though I'm sure everybody's ordered more than enough. But you have the Treasury edition for Star Wars Darth Vader Black, White, and Red, which is super cool. Dr. Aphra 35. There's a Return of the Jedi variant. There are these homage covers that I think are cool. This is an homage to Star Wars 1, I'm pretty sure.
It is.
They're doing Clone Wars anniversary variants. Nick, I'm assuming the homie Nick is doing those because he's like, that's all Nick. So Nick,
he's gotta love Asajj Ventress. He likes the fun ones.
Storm #4 of 5, only one cover. Venom 24 featuring Doctor Doom. There's an A cover. There's a Stormbreakers with him chasing some cats. Then there's the Valdez Gods cover. Ryan Stegman Other Venom cover. And then Venom 25 is also on FOC because don't you guys love to see it?
Yeah, I saw that was weird too.
It's also $7.99.
Yeah, so, it's #25.
So there's an A cover. He's fighting Doctor Doom again.
Only 15 issues to go before they cancel
it. Issue. Oh, that's the incentive. That's the 1 in 100. No. Yeah. Wow. I can see incentives for Venom for some reason.
I think it's just that Venom. I can, in fact, see the DC ones that you see, so I would assume I can see the Venom ones as well. I didn't look at it. I got the Ken Lashley open order foil, baby. Come on.
Oh, I'm not there yet, dude. I got Cafu. I got the Stormbreakers. That doesn't look like Stormbreakers. The Stormbreakers is usually Virgin, but whatever. We'll cross that
it's strange.
There's a JR, and JR Senior. I'm not sure what that means. I think one of them did the background, one of them did the foreground. I don't know. There's the Ken Lashley foil. Dude, it's PI though, dude. I don't remember what that fully means.
What?
But I'll figure it out.
I know they let me order it.
Of course they let you order it. It says it right here. Look, order.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I keep trying to tell people when they can't find comics. I'm like, bro, if you look hard enough, you'll find someone that'll take your money. I promise.
PI. What does that stand for? Price. And I don't know. So I bet you it's exactly what that final. So I haven't had to experience this. I experienced it once, like on the ordering side. I haven't had experience on the pricing side yet. So like, I believe the new Marvel foils are not being discounted to stores. So more likely than not, the store is gonna pay. And this is my assumption. I actually am 100% going off of just like experience.
You know way more about it than I do.
So more likely than not, the stores will be charged $7.99 for it.
Okay.
But with no discount, right? So like, in theory, a store might charge like $14.99 for the book. It's not an incentive. They can order as many as they want, but like I think that's what that PI means. I could be wrong. Any of y'all, just ask your local comic store. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to either look into it, or if it's not the first time, they know what they're doing.
Yo, your boy Johnny D Pockets ordered it anyway, so
I mean, it's not going to be an incentive. I don't believe this is the type of thing. It's open order. Yeah, it actually says net right here. So it says net. So just for any of y'all that ever are ordering somewhere,
I get it.
Yeah, if you're ever ordering somewhere and the file comes over like that, the word net means net pricing, which means no discounts. So, like I said, so $7.99 is probably the cost. So like they'll want to recoup that. They'll probably charge like $14.99, something like that. Some stores might do a little extra love, like if you FOC'd it, you get it for a different price than what it's going to be on the wall for. But that's what net means. Whatever. There's also a Scotty Young cover, just so y'all know.
It's Ken Lashley. I'm there for it.
X-Force Roz variant. That's beautiful. Is that what you got?
Raza? Yeah, that's the trade paperback, but I did get the that cover when it came out.
Oh, okay. And then let's see. Dynamite.
Yeah, Raza's pretty rad.
Yeah. We'll fly through Dynamite real quick. There's Betty Page 3. There's Disney Villains Hades #1. There's a lot of covers. Though. I'm just going to say artist names so y'all are informed. Darbo, Lee, Forstner, Tamalusi. There is an action figure variant that is open order. There is a blank variant. Just so you guys know, just because a customer asked about it once and I was able to order it because it doesn't, if you let us know in advance or let anybody know in advance, it's doable. There is a metal cover. Number one, metal covers are always the coolest.
Oh, yes. Okay.
What?
Nothing.
So they retail at 100. Like that's the kicker to them. That's why I say like you got to just stores are not ordering that for the wall. You know, like. But I did order one for somebody once. It came in great condition. It usually comes a little bit later than the first issue. But just so y'all know, it's on there because it is real. That like y'all do you.
I would have done that maybe for I don't know. Like were the other? Do you happen to know if the other villains were like that?
Yeah, it was because it was Maleficent that the person bought it. Like that's how I know.
Because like I think I might have come out on that for like Scar.
Scar, that's the one Lauren said she thought. I'm 99% sure.
I guess it just depends on who your character is. You know what I mean? That's like you're like, oh yeah, you can get a medal, and I'm like, really? And I'm looking at the screen, and then I look down and see it's $100 for Hades #1 and medal, and I'm like, yeah, come on.
Yeah, I had somebody. He's like, I do every cover. I'm like, so you know about the medal? He's like, I do not know about the medal.
Every cover?
Yes, you know. I'm like, I'm not pushing no $100 cover on nobody. But so you know it is.
But if you ask for it though, you better get ready.
So Jay Lee on Maleficent, Sue Lee on Maleficent, Myers on Maleficent, Puebla on Maleficent, Durso on Maleficent. See, there's even a medal for number 4 Maleficent.
That's crazy.
FOC Campbell. So Campbell is still doing those FOCs on Maleficent. So make sure you order that. Kong Great War 3, you got Red Sonja number 2. Number 1 just came out. It's got a sick Inhyuk Lee cover. Red Sonja is not my thing. Also has a sick Bjorn Barden-esque cover. He's also dope.
Bjorn Barons?
Yeah, Bjorn Barons.
Is that who it was?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, he crushes those Ghost Rider covers.
Yeah. He is phenomenal. He's doing the Predator covers, I think, too sometimes. Like,
yeah,
he's phenomenal. So now we're getting to like the independent of independent. So I'm gonna kind of fly through because there's.
I'm gonna go grab my stack of books I got this week.
Yeah, so it's Black Hammer, The End. If you've been looking for some more Black Hammer, there you go. Number 1. Blade Runner's hitting trade paperback. Bloody Parts number 1 from American Mythology. By the Horns, Chilling Adventures, Strange Science one shot. They're doing a lot of those Chilling Adventures one shots. Door to Door, Night by Night is on there. Feeder number 4. Godfell number 5. Godzilla Rivals versus Space Godzilla number 1. $7.99 one shot. It's kind of all ages. Dungeons. There's a lot of Endless Summer. So there's IDW Endless Summer, Dungeons and Dragons Saturday Morning Adventures. There's My Little Pony Endless Summer. There is Endless Summer Sonic the Hedgehog. There's Endless Summer Saturday Morning TMNT. So you got that. There is Monolith number 4. You got The Nasty number 4. Nemo the Lad number 1 from Scoot Comics. Oswald the Star Chaser number 5. Plot Holes number 1 from Massive, which is technically Whatnot Publishing. Don't let them fool you. That is what it comes out with. Now it is a Sean Gordon Murphy comic. Seems really cool. He is drawing and writing it. The A cover is Sean Murphy. The B cover is Dan Panosian. The C cover is by Simonson, and it's a Beta Ray Bill homage. Am I reading that right? Walt Simonson. Yep. There is a D cover that's like very kid-esque, and there's an E cover by Scalara and a F cover by Bengal. There is a sketch cover that looks pretty cool too. It is $1 more, funny enough. Oh, this was the cover I thought was cool. The Comic Zone.
Oh wow!
Homage. The Comic Zone homage, because I remember Comic Zone. Cool. I wasn't old enough to like be buying it off the Genesis, but I had it like later, so I thought that was cool. Pop Scars number 6. Rick and Morty, Heart of Rickness number 2. I think number 1 just came out this week. Shelley Frankenstein, I think, is a cool kids book. I just wanted to say that out loud. Sonic is also having its 900th issue. So freaking Sonic hit 900 before Flash. Like, this is crazy.
Gonna cross over with the Savage Dragon.
Yeah. So there's that. There's a couple covers for that. Stranger Things Tales from Hawkins number 3 is coming out. The Outer Spacemen, that looks super old school. TMNT Saturday Morning number 4. TMNT Street Fighter number 3. Under the Influence number 2. Vanity Remastered from Scouts. And that is it for FOC. That did take a long time. That's a long time. I don't like that format. We'll fix that next time. But
that's all right.
It's the first time for everything. So with that, we're gonna go and recap this week's past new comic book day, which is why Roy went, grabbed his stack. I've got my stack. It's got this week's books plus like I wanted to mention to you guys the Night Terrors and stuff like that. So like, Roy, you start, dude. What impressed you the most? Like, what? I know you have a big stack.
Oh, the most, hands down.
What was like just like, oh man, that is awesome.
All right. So, whenever we FOC these books, I saw that Mark Millar was doing something with Image, and it was a spoiler cover, and it was J.G. Jones, and I was like, all right, I'm about it. You know what I mean? Like, well, I learned from the Spider-Man, the Spider-Boy thing. You know what I mean? I don't order 10 copies. I'm not a speculator. I don't care. I have 1 copy. I got it at cover price because I ordered it a month in advance because it was a spoiler cover. Yeah. And so same thing here. And when I was at the shop and it wasn't in my file and the guy had to go digging endlessly to find the right cover, when this cover hit the counter, I was like, that has got to be it. So the big spoiler reveal, this is, it's Fox and Wesley from Wanted. And so what Big Game
so he put Wanted. So is Big Game a Wanted book or there's a
cameo? No, Big Game is a Millar-verse book. So it's going to have like Kick-Ass and the Wanted Gang and like, you know, like he's bringing all these things together. And that was like, yes, like I'm so glad that I was like, yeah, sure, let me get it, because you know there was this Mark Millar and J.G. Jones, and I was like, that smells like Wanted to me. And if you've only ever seen that movie, then you don't know anything about Wanted whatsoever. Like literally, like it's literally just the name, and like that's it. Like everything else.
They curve a bullet in the comic, right?
I mean, sure. I guess. But man, let me tell you, dude, I'm not going to waste all the time. Anyone who's read it knows, and anyone who knows me knows I'll go on about it forever because I hate comic book movies. But so I have not gotten a chance to read this yet, but it's Mark Millar, it's Pepe Larraz, and like I said, like I want to see like Fox and Wesley like having to like, or, you know, encounter Kick-Ass or something. It sounds just amazing and off the wall, and I think Millar can pull it off really well. So I'm excited for that one. That is my big number 1 thing.
That was your number 1?
Yeah. And then other than that, let's see. I'm mostly impressed by just it's foil covers week, man.
I was going to say a lot of covers impressed me. Reading-wise, Antarctica was like Antarctica number 1. There was only 1 cover. I'm sure there were 2 covers because I looked at FOC and there were 2 covers for number 2. But I picked up, I think this is the A cover. Art is really clean, real beautiful. But I really think they have a good story going on here, man. It's like one of those things where I immediately I didn't FOC number 2. I added it to my subscription. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like,
I don't like subs. I like the.
I know, but it was like I told myself, I'm like, I don't even care what cover it is. I just don't want to. Like,
don't ever want to slip on it.
I'm not as confident with how I FOC books as you are just yet.
Bro,
I have a fear of missing a week. Like, what happens if I just wake up Tuesday and I'm like, crap, I forgot, you know?
Bro, like, I just did a year's worth of intensive training with expert instructors. Like, I am
the You are the FOC machine.
Yes. Yo, I don't miss
FOC 100.
You gotta be out of your mind. So, and
that's beautiful cover.
Lost for how to make this effective or which side is left and right. But yes, I got that same Titans one. I got that art germ. Like hands down.
Well, I want to make you bigger. How do I make?
Oh, well, thank you. I was there for a second.
Is it because I'm more important?
You are more important. We're kind of equal now. Now it's all me. So of course I have them all in bags and boards like an idiot trying to show them off on the camera. But like these all turned out like pretty badass. It was hard to tell them no. So that's the Delerda, and then the Jenny Frieson. Like I know it's the same cover, but it's a good cover, and if it's not broke, don't fix it. So there's that. My boy Moon Knight.
No, you're gone.
I'm back. I think now I'm full again. Now I'm on the side with you. Now it's you. Camera 1, camera 2.
Can you hear me still?
I can still hear you.
Oh, there we go. I figured it out. See, it takes a couple button clicks.
So I believe there's a.
That looks like foil. Is that
foil? Yes, sir. Absolutely. This is City of the Dead Moon Knight. So his first appearance of Scarlet Scarab. Sabine Rich did an amazing cover for this as well. But open order foil for Moon Knight. Yeah, man. Jed McKay's been killing this series. It's been like a street level hero, like renaissance for the last year. And of course, now that I'm here and I'm getting it and I'm loving it all, like they're taking all those writers off and making them all do other stuff.
Yeah, it's weird to what I see. I'm not sure what's happening with all the AAA writers. Like it feels like they're getting taken off of.
It's one of the reasons I don't follow sports teams. Like, you know what I mean? So this is my
Micah. That's beautiful. That was 1 in 25,
125, I think. I paid 1 in 50 prices for it, but it was actually fair market value. I really can't complain. I don't have a complaint.
I saw Midtown had it at 50. That's why I wasn't sure if it was a 1.
There you go. Yeah, that's so. And then anytime that you ever gonna give me a second, I'm gonna go out.
Dude, is that John Tyler Christopher on the?
It is John Tyler Christopher for the negative space, and then of course Static number 5. Static, man. If you're not reading that, dude, you're missing out. Between the story and Nicholas Draper Ivy's art is off the wall, and it's a great time to be a Milestone fan. So this is issue number 5. They just extended it to 7 issues, so there must be some popularity behind it. So I'm not the only one. So if you're not checking that out, I highly recommend it. And then of course, just because I am me, I also got the Tyler Kirkham, the 1 in 25 for Batter Blood.
Oh yeah,
because Tyler Kirkham it just slays at any and all given times. And Scotty Young will convince me to buy a. Yeah,
like Momoko. It is Scotty.
Oh, it is Momoko. Sorry, it is Momoko. But either one, will get me to like. How do you turn this down?
That's phenomenal. Her work, like you know what I'm saying. Like sometimes it is a smaller image, like with a white background, but that is all around phenomenal.
I just I don't know that somehow the childish grin gave me Scotty vibes for a second. But yeah, so no, that's why, because I got this guy.
Yes, I was gonna say Scotty did do a Moon Knight.
Yes, so I got Scotty on the brain for that, and then I don't know once again Punchline's a good one to show real quick, and then I'll be done because you talk about.
Oh, you did get the Punchline because of the cover.
For the cover, yeah. And then, I'm not going to go and waste anyone's time, but the same thing with the Zatanna. Don't get me wrong. You got me stoked that it turns out to be one of the better options I could have picked.
Did you get the Kendrick Lim Zatanna? Is that what you got?
Is that the zombie one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got them both. I got the zombie one and the tentacle one.
Because
bro, I can't help it. Yes, that is it.
So yeah, this week. So here, I'll go real quick. I did Antarctica number 1. I'm adjusting it. If I have no stake in any game right now, still but I'd suggest to go to any local comic store that you can and pick it up. Subscribe to issue 2. I can imagine it's only a 4 or 5 issue series. Phenomenal. I'm excited to see what happens at the end. Let's just put it that way.
Strong recommendation. I'm gonna take you up on it.
I read Hawk Girl number 1. I cannot give it as strong of a recommendation as that other book. I did not subscribe to it. I FOC'd the Derek Chu number 2.
Yeah.
I thought it was a decent book. It definitely has a few. First, let me probably say it probably is an LGBTQ book. It tries really hard to
Well, they brought in Naomi too, didn't they?
No, she's at least not in the first issue. But
Okay.
Galaxy is an LGBTQ character, and like there's a lot of vibes. So like it's definitely that type of book. Like not anything bad about it, but it is in that
Huh.
style. But it's really cool because
Representation matters, man.
you don't get in the first issue to fully see it, but a reoccurring panel, and it's not a spoiler because like you see it at the beginning, you see it throughout the book, you see it towards the end, is Hawk Girl curled up in like the fetal position, like what would appear like crying, like in her like living room or whatever. So it's clear that she is suffering from PTSD, not just from being a superhero, but from the PTSD of dying and being reincarnated
Sure,
and
man.
having the memories of your previous like so like it seems like so that's why I said I'm Derek Chu doesn't hurt, but I'm absolutely
No.
giving this second issue a shot because I want to see if they choose to dive deeper into that or kind of just have it be a trait, because I'd love to
Right.
see the dive. That's my hope, is that we see like because it would be scarring. Like forget about the PTSD that Batman has or Superman. She's died like and like had to live multiple lives.
And then isn't it like I don't know where they're at with her right now, but I know that for a long time it was kind of one of those like intrusive thoughts with the memories, like doesn't necessarily remember every part of every life with Carter. I don't know if that's the same thing or not anymore, but
That's the part where like I'm not sure where they're at yet because they haven't touched on it a lot yet. And because the beginning of it is them setting her up because obviously it's in the canon that the Justice League has broken up, right? Like it's in that canon of main DC.
right.
So the main part of it is like, hey, what are you gonna do now that the Justice League is broken up? And she's like, I don't know, like she's finding her place in the world or whatnot, which is almost like the superhero slice of life. But I love the idea that like because she's trying to hide from Super. At the beginning, she's fighting alongside Superman and Power Girl, and they're like, "Hey, are you gonna be okay with this?" Da 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 da. And she's like, just like doing what most of us would do, like pretending everything's okay. Da da da.
Right.
And then you see her break down later and everything like that. So like, it is. I'm excited. Is the wrong term. I think superhero PTSD storylines are very unexplored and underappreciated. And I think it's
For
a
sure.
place that I'm surprised. First of all, like I'm sure independents have gone there. I
So
would not.
you don't read a lot of Jeff Lemire's Moon Knight, huh?
I was gonna say, like, I know that there's I think Invincible has gone there. Like it's definitely gotten
Sure.
done. But I feel like the fact that Batman, like the people who are probably the most suffering from PTSD, we have not explored it.
Sure. For a
Like,
fact.
Batman for sure would be one of those characters. Anybody who's probably witnessed like their ward or mentor die in front of them would
Yeah.
probably also qualify. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody who's died and probably come back, like probably qualify.
I'd read a 6-issue mini about Pariah going to see a therapist. Like
Yeah, yeah. So like, it's just interesting. So I
especially if it
did
was Doc
read.
Samson. That'd be a
I'm
cool
actually gonna
crossover.
put them in order real quick. So I did do Night Terrors, and I suggest it to everybody and anybody, especially if you like Dead Man. So I read Night Terrors First Blood. I got the A cover, and I had to get the Blacklight variant, of course.
That's rad.
So, and then there's Night Terrors #1 because First Blood is like your 0 issue. So then there's Night Terrors 1.
There's no Wizard Ash can to go with it. I miss
I
that.
did Zatanna.
How do you turn that cover down? I couldn't
I
do it.
did I did Flash. So like here's what I'll say. So first of all, basic premise of Night Terrors is a new villain has arrived by the name of Insomnia. He comes from the Dreamstone, and he's gone ahead and killed the keeper of the Dreamstone. And he's looking for what is considered the Nightmare Stone. And all he knows is that the keeper of the Dreamstone hid it away in one of the superheroes or villains of the DC universe's nightmares. That's where he hid them. So that's why Insomnia has put all the heroes and villains of DC to sleep and in the nightmare realm, right? That is your main premise, sets you up for everything ahead of it. What I think is awesome, because that's a cool premise on itself, but you still need substance.
Yes.
The main series features, because everybody that's humanish of any kind is asleep. So that would include Batman.
Right.
Except Boston Brand, who is Deadman, if you know.
And you should.
Went ahead, and because he needed to warn people, took over Batman's body, which is like a big no-no. Batman right at the beginning is like, I don't ever do that to me, Bran. But like, if not, Batman was gonna fall asleep and like potentially die. So Boston Brand does it. Deadman is in Batman's body. So ensues this whole book. Because if at any point in time he leaves Batman's body, well, now it's going to be a lifeless body on the floor and it's going to get killed by whatever villains are there. So it's Deadman in control of Batman's body for so far an issue and a half. And it's hilarious. It's
just
great.
Threw consent right out the window with this storyline.
Yeah, like it's just Batman. Like he's the strongest Batman. He has the gadgets, but like he's gonna say things that Batman wouldn't say.
Yeah,
Batman is in theory trying to fight him. So like there's the occasional dialogue between Batman and Boston. So I think it's a phenomenal book.
Sounds
Absolutely worth reading. Just don't fall into the trap of needing to do it all. Do what you want.
Ooh, that's a lot of books.
Yeah, do what you want to do. I know there's a Night Terrors Detective Comics coming out next week. It's not written by Ram V, but it's written by Dan Waters. So I'm picking it up. Like, like that's people I trust or storylines like that, I'm doing. I also picked up Tales from the Teen Titans Starfire. If you have a favorite Titan, just pick up the issue of it that you like. And of course I picked up that same cover. So I thought it was good. Roy, real quick, if you want, we're gonna go on over to our next and last segment, which is Kickstarter talk, because we both had a Kickstarter we want to talk about. I need to get my charger for my laptop real quick. So if you want, you can start, and I will.
It's 40 books if you want to collect Night Terrors.
Oh, I believe it. I'm
looking at a checklist right now.
I wouldn't suggest it to anybody because I'll admit I didn't like absolutely. I love Alex Packendale. I did not love the Flash book. It is a phenomenal Flash story. It has Wally, it has Barry, like Jay is in there, but like, I don't know. Maybe Flash just doesn't work for Night Terrors, and there was no right story for me. But like, don't do. My suggestion would be just don't do characters you don't like, because then you're really gonna feel like you wasted $2.99.
Oh, you have to tell. Yeah, I get it. All right, so this week is a big week for a guy like me. Back in it started in 1991, but a comic book called Poison Elves was created by a guy named Drew Hayes. And when I say independent publishing, I mean this guy, like the first, I think it's the first 8 issues or first 5 issues or whatever. They're like magazine size. Like he printed them himself, edited them himself, and it's a great story. It's something that would have really thrived in today's world because of things like Critical Role, where my D&D campaign is the IP, and that's kind of what's going on here in Poison Elves. And I have one of the old big trades for it, so you can kind of get a glimpse of that without, well, it's got all the horrific glare, obviously. But it's all black and white interior art, and basically, if you like stories like Elf Quest, if you're into being angry, like you can really watch. This was like I've told Danny before, this is the first time that, because there's no internet, not really. And this was the first time that I got to know a creator like the way he felt and the way he thought, because every issue starts with a starting note where he would be real with you. And he was a troubled guy, and he had to work through a lot of things, and he did it in his art. And he was super passionate about this book. And eventually got picked up by Sirius Entertainment, and it went on. I think there's all in all about 100 issues. And then, unfortunately, Drew passed away, medical complications, and that was kind of the end of it all. And after all this time, they were able to, after all this time, they were able to get a Kickstarter going on Rob Horn, the guy from Sirius Entertainment, who has the rights. They worked out these great hardcovers with these slip cases, everything they got coming out. They wanted $9,000 to fund the campaign. It was funded within 15 minutes, and now they're in the 40,000. So they're creating new stretch goals, because we've already got all the stretch goals. Everything that Danny's scrolling by, I bought. It was fast as fingers on this one. But so this is a hardcover that starts to collect all of the issues together, and these special hardcovers, like you can see, and you can kind of get a feel for, like I said, the emotion that goes into these books. It was really poignant. Unfortunately, sometimes it can suffer for pacing, because this is something that Drew planned on doing for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of issues. And oh my God, I can't wait for that shirt. and then and then like I said, unfortunately passed away. And so there's no new material, there's no AI involved in compiling all of this. And it was a real good chance. It was great to see the outpouring, because me personally, I don't know another living human being that reads these comics, other than, of course, now we're all in chat rooms and we're all active again. So while I'm not pushing the Kickstarter on anyone, obviously they don't need your money at this point, I would highly recommend, if you're into D&D campaigns, if you're into elves, magic, hot chicks, black and white art, and stuff that shines because of how rough it is, I couldn't recommend Poison Elves more. I can't hear you. You're out. Oh, you're sneezing.
They must have just started because they still got 26 days to go.
Oh, yeah.
It's titled Poison Elves Book 1 Hardcover Edition is what it's on.
Yep.
Super cool art. Reminds me, you know what it reminds me of? And like, obviously this is more polished. It kind of reminds me of Raycana seems to be influenced on Poison Elves a little bit.
Maybe.
If ever actually
he might be.
Books. Yeah.
He probably is.
Like, because the artwork looks a lot like they're like, it looks cool.
It's like I said, it's phenomenal. Like, I honestly, having been into comic books for 16 years before this came out, never liked black and white. It wasn't my thing. And this like completely turned me over. In fact, I just bought 100 bags and boards so I could go back and rebag and board them all. Like, these comics are some of my most like precious, like, to me. But I don't think that, like I said, the storyline, you know, it's like a D&D campaign. It's elves, it's orcs, wizards who are jerks, like everything. And of course, like, your guy like can't catch a break, and he's not your typical hero, and he's not your typical anti-hero. And because this guy is so self-inserting, and it's you can, because it's not like you're self-inserting yourself into X-Men. This is your thing. So it can be as all you as you want. And like I said, you can see him work out like the anger and the frustration and the confusion about the world in which he found himself in. And man, it's great. And like anything that might be remotely considered heroic that the main character Luce has accomplished is just because he happened to land that close doing what he wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's great. I could go on and on about it forever, but I don't want to keep everybody.
So the Kickstarter I wanted to talk about, because like actually they have what? They have 22 hours to go. So they got 1 day to go. But it reminded me of it because I stopped by Blackbird the other day to do their oats. It was like Game of Oats or something. All their coffees were made with oats, and Lauren is a big oatmeal proponent because she can't have regular milk. So I'm in there, and she's having her coffees, and I see Trey Walker, good friend of ours, Trey Walker, with his buddy Hoyt Silva. Seasons Change. It was their most recent Kickstarter of the cool little like manga digest size book.
I know who you're talking about. I was with you when we bumped into him.
Yeah. So this is their book, and this is the not postcard. Oh my god, what's it called? Book plate, which I think is beautiful, drawn by Hoyt. Whole book is drawn by Hoyt, written by Trey. Anyways, it's not my, looking at the cover, it's not my type of book. Okay, I'll tell you that right now. I'm gonna read you the synopsis just to also tell you how this should not have been my book. In a post-apocalyptic world, a housebound wife struggles with isolation and a crumbling marriage, which drives her into the arms of another. Now an emotional wreck and caught in a strange love triangle, she must confront herself and her partners to make sense of her life. Sounds like a soap opera, like an episode of a soap opera. Not my style. Yeah, you have to pick up this book. Blackbird still had a couple copies. I think $14.99. It is a Kickstarter book, so it's a little more expensive, but it's like 64 pages, square bound. But anyways, I read you that synopsis. Yes, it does feature a main character named Summer, who is married to a woman named Anna Bear, Anna for short. and Anna is what's considered essential. It's funny because Trey was probably writing this at the beginning of the pandemic.
Sounds like it.
But she's considered essential. She's like a researcher, medical field or something like that. It's vague because it doesn't.
I was considered essential. I was a line cook.
Yeah, so she's much more essential. No, she's essential. So she comes and goes as she pleases. Though I believe the thing says that it's like the year 2100. So like we're like 100 years in the future. So if you're not essential, you have 5 day passes to go outside. Other than that, you are inside.
Okay.
So Summer is normal. She's non-essential. So she has 5 day passes. So at the very beginning, you see that she's having this affair with what I forget what the other girl's name is. But she's having the affair and she's using up her day passes and she's worried about it and da da da. Then she fears that her partner is having an affair because she doesn't need day passes, right? She could come in, she's never home, she's very closed and distant. But it goes from becoming that is the first act, right? It's got to set the premise.
Sure.
So it goes from being that to being the wildest episode of Twilight Zone or Black Mirror or something along, like, you understand like what I'm talking about there?
Yeah, I get you.
Like it goes from setting that groundwork of act 1, like here's the day in the life, year 21,000, to being like, bam, mind F, as we would have said back in the day. Like, so it was cool. I literally messaged Trey as soon as I finished reading it, and I was like, WTF is like, what the heck is wrong with you? Like, this is wild. It was super cool. It was not what I was expecting until the very like last second to last page. But like, it seems like a drama, like just like, oh, here's these people in an affair. It is so much more than that when it ends. And again, it would make a phenomenal episode of Black Mirror or like Twilight Zone.
Sure.
That's what I gotta say. So they have a new project that has 22 hours left called Danjin, which is Danjin is an NPC in a Elder Scrolls style or D&D style game. So like, you just follow a low-level NPC as he works the cleanup shift in the dungeon of a popular MMO, which is a mass multiplayer online game. So you follow Danjin around. Trey had been telling me about this idea for like over a year, and I think it's a great idea to follow around an NPC in a freaking any type of game, right? Because like, we just hit a button, we talk to them for 2 seconds, and we leave. That's how we interact, if we even did the button and talk to them.
Right.
So Danjin issue 1, they have 22 hours to go. They've unlocked a few stretch goals, or they're almost at that last stretch goal, which is a signed and numbered book plate. So it will probably be like a cool Danjin version of that. The covers are super cool. The concept is cool. That the bad guys, there's Danjin just cleaning up in the dungeon. At the cover of the book, it is Trey and Hoyt really love doing the square bound manga size, so they will be doing more of that. It's going to be in the black and white manga style, which I think is cool. Look at them; they're even adding health that's healing. There they are, taking damage.
Like a little Scott Pilgrim flavor.
Yep. It is super cool. Hoyt's super talented. He does a lot of ghost stuff for Marvel, that he's not really allowed to talk about, but his studio work is probably been seen by a lot of you guys. His name just usually isn't in the credits.
That's unfortunate.
So yeah, it's just the way of the business, and he just had a kid, it pays the bills, like he does what he has to do.
I stand for the artist though.
Dude, they have some cool stuff, and what I love is one of the covers that Trey did was the design cover, because like it's a character sheet. This is the Employee of the Month cover, which is Danjin as Employee of the Month. There's your A cover, and then they did the Knife Rat cover, because that's a character in the story, is a knife rat who just has a knife attached to his back, and he has a spork upgrade. And I think it's hilarious. And then they're doing a foil version of that. So those guys have 22 hours to go. If you're local to Central Florida, like I'm 99% sure I saw Dave at Blackbird say that they backed it. So they will probably be carrying copies. And like I mentioned in my social media post the other day, if you're lucky, you might even see Trey in the building, like writing like his next book, because he goes and chills in there. So like you can get the book plates are signed technically, but like heck, man, you can get him to sign like the actual book, which I think would be cool.
Always.
So like I just wanted to give those guys love because Trey's a super hardworking dude who's like had a lot of bad breaks, you know, like not like just books don't get published or people kind of leave them out to dry. So like I'm excited to see them fulfilling back to back because they're already funded. They're aiming for their last stretch goal, but they're funded. So like I'm glad to see him going back to back on books. He also wrote Last Stop for Scout Comics. It's been optioned. Not a lot of movement on that, but it's still cool. Like the guy's making moves, you know.
For sure. Always good to see that, man. And that's like the same thing, like what I was talking about with Drew Hayes, is like you can go and you can meet this guy. You know what I mean? You can't go meet Jim Lee, and if you did, it'd probably be a letdown. But you can go meet Trey Walker, I believe was right, yep. And then you can go meet Travis Gibb, and you can go meet these creators. You know, obviously you got to be local where we are, but like, man, it's stuff like that is so much more rewarding. Like people would like write to Drew and be like, "Hey, man, you screwed this all up," and he would sit there and write you back in his book and argue with you. Like if you saw when you were scrolling through that book that said death threats, that's what the letters page. That's what the letters page is. It was so good. His interactions were so personal and so real with his fans that they ended up compiling all of the letters pages into a trade. And that's not just for the Kickstarter. That's been out since like 2001 or whatever. This is an old series.
And that's what indie comics like. And again, there are people. There's absolutely people that collect everything Batman, you know.
Yeah.
But like indie comics has that. It's the small business of comics, right?
Yeah.
It does. Like, yes, Kickstarter is a major corporation traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Like, absolutely, right? But, like, it facilitates all these people. Like, Travis Gibb is up for a damn Ringo Award for an anthology that is literally something that him and Jerome sat and, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so willed into existence,
So many people spent hundreds of hours that don't include storytelling, right? Like, hundreds of hours on lettering, design, getting the team together, production meetings. And it's to produce a baby, like literally, like, you know, their comic version of a baby.
Absolutely.
And they just hope it is their child, right? And like they just hope it's super successful, or not super. They hope it's successful on any level.
Sure.
Like that people enjoy it, because I know Travis, like he loves the success from Granite State Punk and he loves the Ringo, but like somebody walking up to him and telling him that they loved Expired, which does not have a publishing deal, and that is just as important as somebody walking up to him and say Granite State Punk. You know, it's just like, that's your piece.
Anytime you can get to know creators, man, you should get out there and do that. You'll always have it's just more rewarding all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, and actually, real quick, we'll go here, moving from Kickstarter talk to last words. I just recently went yesterday to, it was a small thing, but it was at a Odd Guys Brewing here in Apopka. It was called Camp Con or something like that. They were doing a mini con to advertise that they're going to be doing more conventions here in Apopka. Super nice guys, but go to things like that. There was one creator there. This was a smaller event, and they're still working on. I reached out to him and told him if he needs help booking talent, like let me know. But next Saturday at 1010 Brewing in Lake Ivanhoe is going to be the Blackbird Microcon. And I know Trey Walker will be there, a couple of comic creators, I think, usually Jonathan Hedrick's there. Those types of events. And there were comic creators at the Rise of the Phoenix Con last week.
Connor.
Dan Connor from freaking Nightmare Before Christmas. Like,
really great guy.
Yeah, so you can literally meet these people. And Dan Connor was doing free sketches. If you thought to put a Nightmare Before Christmas book up there, he'd draw Zero or Oogie Boogie or Jack or Sally.
I got mine right now.
Like, for free. So, like, these are cool. And it's cool to go to MegaCon, right? And New York Comic Con and San Diego Comic Con. But, like, I tell people, if you have a chance, go to these little shows. Not only are you supporting small, not only are those guys making more profit because they didn't pay hundreds of dollars for the booth, like, take an opportunity when you can. So next Saturday, Blackbird's hosted MicroCon at 1010 Brewing. Definitely want to be there. Should be fun. There's beer, comic vendors, toys, everything. And you got that done by Dan Connor, who Dan Connor's from Melbourne. I need to get him in contact with freaking Travis because they can work together. Yeah, he did that for free. Like,
so he was super cool, and he let me tell him my story a little bit, and he was really cool. And I paid for a remark. And then while I paid for one, he just kept going and going. So not only did he sit there and listen to my personal story, like who the heck am I? But then, you know, he felt connected to that. And so he kept going. And I think that's amazing. You know what I mean? And you're not going to get that from.
No, and you can't get it. And even if Dan Connor's at MegaCon, you might not get it because he had to pay so much for the booth. He's got to, you know what I'm saying? It's why I tell people, if you get a chance, do a small con. Do the free little con that's at your local American Legion post or at the Sons and Daughters of Italy. And like, do that, because it might, first of all, entrance might be free or like $8 or $10 in comparison to the third. I'm going to pay $30 to go to Tampa Bay Comic Con. I'm excited. I'm going to meet Grant Gustin, but like, you know, people probably paid hundreds of dollars for their booths there. Like you won't get the, like, it's just a different experience. So with that being said, MicroCon this upcoming Saturday,
I'll be there.
We will likely, Roy, you want to aim to try to do a show again on Sunday?
Yeah, man. I'll be anytime you want me, I'm yours.
But we'll do another show probably Sunday. I don't know if noon will be the time or not. We'll figure that out closer, but we'll do another show on Sunday the 30th. Sunday the 30th. And then don't forget, I'll probably do it right here on the channel. But on Wednesday, August 2nd, I will be announcing where my next employment will be. So that is the next logical step in life.
You taking your talents somewhere, Bubba?
I'm taking my talents to somewhere.
Oh, okay.
And play for somebody. I've thought long and hard. And with that being said, a week and a half from now. So, but yeah, so thank you so much for following us, guys. This is our first one. Little hiccups. I'll work on some graphics and everything. If you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, please subscribe. That would be awesome. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button. And on Facebook, I will continue on the personal Facebook for a while until we build a following, and then I will make a Facebook page. Won't probably wait till I have a logo, so I don't keep using Bizarro Justice League. But like, I thought Bizarro Justice League was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys. So thank you. Take it easy, y'all. And for me and Roy, peace out. We will see you guys soon. Imperious Rex.
Imperious Rex.